Good morning. It is May 6th, and we are at the Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee. And I guess Ms. Robertson could go through attendance.
We have Janet Wynn from the Comptroller's Office and Supervisor Puccioni, Town Historian Dennis Brennan, Kevin Walsh from the Planning Board, Dart Strayer from the Conservation Advisory Council, and Council Elena Finnan.
Excellent. And are there any comments or public concerns?
I didn't receive any electronically.
Nothing from the public? Very good. And that brings us to our minutes from April 1st of 2022. Are there any changes or deletions, additions?
Actually, I believe I was at that meeting because it's not reflected in the minutes.
Oh, okay, so we'll make that update.
All right. Anything else?
I have nothing else, so I move that the minutes be adopted with that change, adding Dart Strayer to the attendance.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. And that brings us to the resolutions.
So these are actually just two carryover resolutions from the last meeting. I'm working with the supervisor on the comprehensive plan committee. It wasn't ready for the last meeting yet, so hopefully we'll have it ready for the next meeting. And then Dennis was also really close at the last meeting, but not quite there. So now I think you'll be ready at this meeting for the town logo resolution.
Yeah, I sent you a copy of the
Yeah.
resolution.
Yep.
I brought a few here if anybody wants to take a look at it. Now, that's just not necessarily the final, obviously, but I've written up a resolution. Between now and the meeting, the end of the month, town board meeting, if there's a need to change some of the wording, that's fine.
Do you have the 7 members? Oh, you have 5 now, and then if you get 2 more, you'll add them?
Right.
Cool.
Just move that forward.
Yes, we have 5 people now, and we thought we'd go for 7.
Yeah, that's what we do 7 or 9 typically on our task forces and committees.
All right. Very good.
And then the only other one, which I just want to talk about with Janet and Elena, I don't think it needs a resolution, but we have to double check, is a change order to Weston and Sampson for the critical bike pedestrian grant engineering, which I can talk about when we get down to A. But if for some reason that does need to go to town board, it's like $12,000. So I don't think it's over the threshold of the contract, but I'll have to check. And if so, then that would be a tentative town board resolution for a change order.
Okay.
So quickly, the EV charging stations, Charlie Brigami has been checking them out, updating me on the status. The Blatnick Park ones have been running for quite some time. And the River Road Park ones were put into action, I think, like a week ago. So we have 8 charging ports up and running in our parks now. I don't believe Lions Park is turned on, although I think a couple people have tried. It's not turned on yet, but Lions Park is the last one, and hopefully that'll get done here in another week or 2.
Excellent.
Planning board is still working hard, but doesn't have as long meetings as we usually have, huh, Kevin?
No, be glad to go through some things if you like.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, recent approvals. The only recent approval was the Goodyear tire over on State Street, an accessory structure for storage for large truck tires. We got several, like I said, we haven't had a lot of resolutions lately, but we have several things that are in the works, like the Chase Bank drive-through at St. James or ShopRite Plaza, also known as St. James Square. We're waiting on them to resubmit with kind of tone down the color scheme that they had to make it fit in better with the plaza over there. Rivers Ledge has updated their renderings for their apartment building along Aqueduct Road. They probably won't be on the agenda until the May 23rd meeting. GE, we're waiting on them to come back. As you know, the ZBA approved the height variance for the new building at the One Research Circle there. They're going through some design issues with what's going in the building, so we're waiting to see whether that would impact any of the previous approvals. Hopefully not. Trinity Baptist Church is looking to put a recreation building and clean up the back so that they have a recreation area with the lawn, and they're waiting on the Army Corps to give them a determination. And once they get that, they'll be back at the planning board. And meeting Monday night, and we got a few new things on the agenda, which I haven't had an opportunity to see yet. They'll be in the agenda statement and posted online over, probably later today. Starbucks, I was looking at renovations, possibly some signage. Glen 80, looking at an entranceway redesign potentially, and dining room improvements. And Hannaford Square is looking at doing some sidewalks and ADA compliant ramps. So those are new things that we'll see this week.
Never any shortage of activity on the planning board.
No, all good stuff.
So zoning board, we had our first meeting with our new chair, Keith Frary. It's a good meeting. And for next month, well, this month, May, we have 4 cases scheduled. So the grants update, I didn't have this on the website agenda, but on the printed one, if you have the printed one, I wanted to talk about the change order with Weston and Sampson. So I just want to share my screen for a second. This is the crossing at St. Joseph's and River Road. So over in this area here is the lower entrance to GE. This is St. Joseph's, and this is the bike path curling away from River Road. So currently there's a parking lot here. You can see when it was loading, you could see the cars for a second. And we're bringing this proposal to the county next week. We've brought some proposals to the county on this crossing, and I think there's some concern that if we put a crossing there, but it's sort of landing in that parking lot, it has some safety issues. So, and I know it might be a little bit of an adjustment because there are cars there a lot, but cars are driving, and all they have to do is drive up to Zenner Road, down Zenner Road, and then there's a huge parking lot where they can get right on the bike path there. So the cars, it's only probably like a 2-minute delay for them to go to a true parking lot, but it would make it much, much safer for the bicycles and pedestrians to cross here. Much, much safer. So what the proposal is that you would have, you paint a crosswalk with warning flashing lights, and then in here to, so that they're landing in a place where that's pedestrian friendly, some landscaping, and an area where it's safe for them to be when they cross over. So I didn't know if you guys had any comments before we bring that to the county, but that was how we were trying to address the safety parking issue over there.
Would there be signage directing people to park off of Zenner Road?
Yeah, so what I was thinking is we should, while we're building it, put signs that say plenty of parking at Zenner Road with maybe even like a little sign. But like what our engineer was thinking is we maybe even block it off early, but like before the construction, and just get people used to parking at Zenner Road with much bigger signs like when you use the bike path, go to Zenner Road. Like I actually think that probably most people are just parking there either out of convenience or because they see it along River Road and they don't know about the Zenner one. But the Zenner Road parking lot is a much safer place for them to park their cars. I've actually seen a car in the ditch over there because it missed the parking lot once. So, and that was never an approved parking lot. It just sort of got paved over time.
Makes sense.
I just spoke with a resident last night about this issue, Vicky Michaela in Niskuna, and she will be ecstatic to hear that this is an option. So thank you for pursuing this and working hard on this, Laura.
Yeah, I don't know if I also hear from another resident in that neighborhood. But I know a lot of them really support the crosswalk. They ask me about it every couple months about the crosswalk. So go ahead, Janet.
So Laura, as far as the change order, from $4,001 to $13,000, it has to be at the recommendation of the department head with written notice to the town board and approval of the chief fiscal officer, which is the supervisor. However, it's defined as an unforeseen modification that is within the scope of and on the site of the project that has been bid. It is not an addition and or change to the scope of the project that has been bid. Change orders for projects may be approved as listed above if the change order falls within 10% contingency or budget of the project. Otherwise, all change orders must be approved by action of the town board.
Okay, then I think for safety, let's put it on action by the town board.
I agree.
It could be argued an unforeseen modification, but really, I think it hasn't been bid, and it's much more because an issue came up when we were designing. So I think I'll put that on as C for a change order.
For action by the town board.
For action by
yes,
the town
yes,
board.
That makes sense.
I mean, I think we still have enough money in the grant so that like a change order won't hit fund balance. It'll just change the amount of money we have for construction, but hopefully we're still in budget. So I'll take a look at that for that meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
So for complete streets, they're still working on working with the schools on the school improvements, and then I'm just waiting to hear how we want to do the Plum Street sidewalk. I think the next step is probably to reach out to the property owners and start working on an easement. So if we need it, or we could wait until we get go out to bid for an engineering company and see if we can fit it in there or not. But I'm not as knowledgeable about that. I believe we bonded for it in our last bonding, but I don't know how soon the money is available for us to start using.
Do we know that, Supervisor, yet, or maybe we don't?
Does it take a while for it to be written? I don't know how that works.
What was the question, Laura? I heard something about bonding.
Oh, I know that the Plum Street sidewalk was in the last bond resolution that we had, but I don't know how soon the money is available after those resolutions.
Yeah, so it has to go through a complete legal process, and I can't actually give you a budget until I physically have the money.
Okay.
Probably at least another 3 to 4 weeks if I had to guess.
Okay. Thank you. For tree council, they still have a ton of things to do, but I wanted to thank everyone for the Arbor Day on April 23rd. I think it was the best Arbor Day we've ever had. John was there. Supervisor Puccioni was there. I was a little worried because we've done drive-throughs the past 2 years, and people, I think, kind of like the convenience of just getting a tree through the window of their car. And so I wasn't sure if we would give away all 300 of our trees. We gave away all 300 of our trees, and we even had some people come at the very end who were disappointed because we were out. So that is, I think, by far the most successful Arbor Day we've ever had. It was beautiful weather, which probably helped. Normally it's raining or snowing on Arbor Day, so that probably helped. But we also had a lot of really good vendors, and the tree council worked really, really hard on it. So I was very thankful to them and everybody who came to make that such a nice event. We are still waiting on our Rising Sun Redbud. Unfortunately, we weren't able to plant both of our Arbor Day trees. It was the 150th anniversary of Arbor Day, so we actually bought 2 trees, but our Rising Sun Redbud is still stuck in Pennsylvania. I just checked on it yesterday, but hopefully it'll be here in a week or 2.
It did go well. Thank you for putting that together. And I think it was the vendors really got a lot of action. People seemed like they wanted to get out of their cars and move around and walk around. So it really was. It was nice.
I was worried, but they did seem very happy to come and interact with
Yes.
people.
Thank you again.
The only thing we learned is that people don't want to get out of line for their trees. So maybe next time we plant a tree closer to where people are waiting for them to pick it up.
Good point.
That was a lesson learned.
Yes. They did not want to get out of line.
I did not want to get out of their line. So the other thing, just to announce, which we did a email blast, which I was thankful to the supervisor on, is that we had such a successful fall picture contrast with the tree council, and the blossoms this spring just seem to be extra beautiful, or maybe it was a long winter, I'm not really sure, but they're doing a spring tree blossom photo contest. So it's running the same way as the fall. We did the email blast. You can navigate to our website to find the details of that, but essentially you just take a picture of a tree in Niskayuna in the spring and then submit it, and we're working on prizes for people, so it'll be fun. I have a couple things listed on Conservation Advisory Council here. Dart, do you want to talk about them, or you want me to talk about them?
So, been working on the logo, here at Black Park, and, we've been working on the signs, and the signs are in. We were excited to work with that. It was brought to our attention a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, is your microphone on, Darren? No, it's not.
Yeah, that would help. Okay, so we've been working on a Lomo initiative near Blatnick Park, and we've been looking at various sign designs and stuff. We made a decision on a sign, and the signs are in, so we can get that project moving. It was drawn to our attention about 2 meetings ago about a program that other communities have, which is a No Mow May, which basically promotes residents not to mow their lawn during the month of May. It doesn't really create a problem with grass height, but it is healthy to give the grass a really good start for the summer. So we feel that that's in line with our no pesticide or pesticide-free initiative outreach that is ongoing. And the last thing is the NRI. ASHUC has been working quite a bit on that. We've made some significant progress, and there's going to be an email blast to build community support May 14th.
Thanks, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
The Climate Smart Communities Task Force is got approval to the compost bins. I have to do we have to kind of get that project going, and then I think what it'll have to be is kind of similar to the Arbor Day, only instead of giving out trees, we're giving out compost bins. So, but I think we'll probably have to have a compost day here at Town Hall. So that's going to take a little organization, but that's approved. And I would like to do that probably in midsummer. Composting works the best, obviously, in warm weather. So I would rather not give the bins out like in fall if I can get the committee together and get things going for you guys. They'll still work in the fall, but I think it would be nicer for people if they could start with them in the summer and sort of see how they work. And then we talked at the last meeting about the Solarize campaign that we wanted to join. So the Solarize campaign gives people, I think, either 5 to 10% off on their energy bills, which just continually go up. So that's a very nice thing. And right now there's a sign up bonus of a $200 gift card to Amazon if you want to sign up your house. And all it is essentially, a non-binding contract to lease space on a solar panel. So you're saying I'm taking the solar panel in a solar field and I'm directing it to my house. So you get the cost reduction in your bill, and you're supporting green energy. So I need to do an email blast to residents, but it is approved. So now anybody who goes to the Solarize Albany website and signs up for this initiative who lives in Niskayuna, their names get sent to me. And if we get 10 of them, then we'll get another grant from NYSERDA to do more things like compost bins or LED light giveaways or stuff like that. So that's approved and ready to go. Just right now needs an email blast that I will work up. And Susan Polsinelli is also working with me on a press release, so that will be fun. And then we just still need to move forward with our Climate Smart grant.
Is there any downside to that Solarize campaign?
I would say there's always complications in any type of thing that you do to the earth, right? Like, a lot of people really love solar panels, but you'll run into people who are like, how are you disposing them when the end of their life cycle is done? What if they're taking over agricultural land? What if, this is me, if you're chopping down forests to build them? I don't like that. But generally speaking, for residents who are looking for a clean option that can't put solar panels on their home, like because they don't want to take trees down, like me, or whatever. It is a really good way to buy into solar. You get that the solar discount on your energy bill, and like right now it's a nice incentive. Like you're not seeing these types of incentives with these programs too much anymore because they pay for themselves. So it's nice to have that incentive for people to sign on.
Thank you.
And it's proven reduction in greenhouse gas emissions through this program. It's reviewed by NYSERDA. So Clark wants to show a couple things about Architectural Review Board. I'll turn it over to him, and then I'm going to put some things on the screen.
Okay, thanks, Laura. First, we're just going to call up the agenda from a meeting we just had this week with the Architectural Review Board. And we won't go through everything on the agenda, but we just wanted to jump to the highlighted projects. The resolution forming the Architectural Review Board requires them to look at zoning board ZBA cases, since they are deviations from the zoning code. The concept is that the Architectural Review Board could help mitigate that through good architectural design. So there are two garage projects that were approved by the ZBA. One is 1206 Ruffner Road. We had a great discussion this week with the homeowner there. She was a little bit hesitant at first about what the ARB might be able to do because she was already working with an architect. But we had a really nice working session. They had some great ideas that she's incorporating into the design. And I think that was a really successful session. And I'm just always so appreciative of the people on the ARB, because several of them are architects who are literally donating exactly what they do for a living to the town. So it's very generous of them. And there's another garage project at 2275 Grand Boulevard. That homeowner is very interested in working with the ARB. They haven't gotten together yet to have a session. That's kind of in the early stages, but the feedback we received is they're very interested in working with us. So that will be another good project. Celts Farm, we have a couple slides just to show on that, but that's getting to the stage where they're really starting to get building permits to build some of the townhouses and the single family homes. So the applicant sent us some latest images, and we're setting up a review session with him in the near future. And Laura's just showing them here. That's just an overall view of the Celts Farm project. And we color coded them just in terms of which units would be twin townhomes and which would be single family homes. So I think the green are the single family homes and the blue that you can see are the twin townhomes. So we just very briefly talked about this with the ARB. They had some great input about colors, which, if people remember, there were some complaints of the colors of some of the buildings that were near the river on River's Ledge, that unfortunately it was too late to change. So we're learning from that and talking about that. So we'll be including that in the review. So we have a little package here. Go ahead, Laura. There's some images that have been supplied. That's the twin townhomes on the left. And right now there are two types of single family homes that are proposed. So again, we're just starting to work with the developer on these. So we have a little packet, floor plans and things like that. So a very good session with the ARB. So that's good, Laura.
Okay,
Thanks.
I like them. This is the first I saw them.
Yeah.
The twin town. So originally Joel had submitted a plan for his daughter's house, and it had a lot of wood beams, which we really liked.
Mhm.
But we wanted to make sure that they carried forward into all the buildings, and that's the first I've seen
Right,
it. But
right.
he's definitely got that on the twin townhomes.
Yeah, it looks good. So, and the ARB is they'll make sure that continues through. And there's a couple buildings with a large expanse of just siding on the side, which, if you want to get the ARB's attention, that's a good way to do it. Don't put too many windows in there. So they're all over that, and they'll have some good discussions about that.
Oops. Okay, so I think the next thing we want to talk about is the building department. So Clark, again, we just think this is so helpful. He's kind of just keeping track of where our department is, how busy we are, like how different we are from the last couple of years of permitting. Just to give you guys a sense. So I think he sort of put together like a first quarter.
Yeah, we'll just look at one or two slides here. But again, these are available if anyone would like to look at them in any more detail. But we've done this for a couple of years now. We've just been comparing the most recent time period in the building department to, in this case, we looked at last year, and we also compared it to the 7-year average of 2015 through 2021. So if you scroll to the next one, Laura, this is just building permits. We got off to a very slow start in January. You can see with the blue line, January was very slow. I'm not exactly sure why, but then we caught up in February and March. So the red line there is the 7-year average of 2015 through 2021. The green line is 2021, which is a real outlier. It was just a huge catch up from a slow pandemic year. But this is showing that we're behind. We're 11% behind last year, but we're still up 8% over the 7-year average. So last year was truly crazy, but this year is still kind of up from where it's been historically. If you want to go to the next one, Laura, that's just showing year by year. The green year shows the very slow 2020. The maroon at the very top is 2021, the kind of the comeback year. And then it's very difficult to see, but the dark blue year is 2022, right in the middle. So that's kind of the story. Then we were also looking at, I can't quite see that, Laura.
That one's permit fees.
Permit fees. So we also track permit fees. So this is something that Laura could pass along. It's a 24% increase over the 7-year average. So we are down 38% from 2021, which again, that's a common theme. 2021 was just so strong, but we are up 24% over that 7-year average. So there's a couple other slides that we have that we can pass along to people, but we just like to look at the activity in the building department and see how it's comparing to year over year.
Clark, that 7-year average takes in the 2021 year, right?
It does,
So,
yeah, it does include
okay.
the 2020.
Yeah. But it's pretty strong this year.
Yeah.
It has been very busy. Yeah. I mean, we're still trying to catch up from 2021 and it's still busy. I just went to a floodplain managers conference, but there are a lot of building inspectors there because building inspectors typically in New York are the floodplain administrators. And I was just kind of pinging them to see if they had a similar experience to our building department. Like if it was very, very busy and crazy. General consensus was yes. So they, I don't think that our trends are necessarily like unique, but they're it's so busy. Like people are doing so much in their homes right now. So sorry, I have so many screens. Okay. The planning department, the Consol Road sidewalk. I do think that there was a little movement on that this last month. I think I was contacted by somebody who was interested in discussing it. So I need to go through my emails and see if I can find that.
Laura, is that a candidate for maybe just to hand it off to a town designated engineer, with the budget and just say, get the survey, if there's enough left in the budget and possibly just a concept. I got a feeling there's not a lot of money there. That might be the end of it, but then it could be shelved.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I can't remember how many years. It goes back to Hummingbird Manor.
It goes back to
so it's
Hummingbird
quite,
Manor.
it's been on
Yes.
the books for quite
Yeah.
a while. Yeah.
I mean, obviously they'll handle it better than me.
I know everybody's busy. I just
Yeah, that's what I mean. If
right.
I
We can use a town designated engineer, that would help.
I've got a lot of projects going on. So if we could just sort
'Cause
of farm it out, it would be great.
We only have 8 or 10,000 set aside for that, or
It's somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that
Yeah,
range?
it might even be
Yeah.
like 6.5. Yeah.
which is, we need another 0 probably, right?
Well, yeah, well, always.
Right.
But that might be a little bit. But yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Elena? Okay. And then Dennis?
Nothing major to add. The logo resolution is going to move forward. I would like to put together a resolution on the land acknowledgement as well. Just couldn't get around to it last month, but put something together. Although I do need to talk to a few people and find out, we should put in the resolution when it's going to be, the statement's going to be made. It's going to be made just at town board meetings. It's going to be made at any committee meeting, or leave it up to the chair of each committee to decide whether they're going to do it or not. So I don't know, maybe could talk to you about it, John, and the supervisor, and see what we want to do.
Sure. Yeah. So the question is the actual dedication?
When the statement would be read.
Oh, okay.
I can write a statement. That's just sort of the beginning,
Okay.
but it's going to be read at every committee meeting, or is it going to go to the town board once a month, or at these meetings, the major committee meetings once a month?
I see. Yeah.
I think we should sort of decide that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And it would, and Dennis, I know you said this before, but it's sort of like the first step in working with and creating relationships with the native peoples to our land. So it would be cool if they could help us write the statement so that you know they see the language and everything too. I don't know. That would be cool.
Well, I had sent the statement several months ago
To them?
to them, and they said it was fine.
Oh, cool.
I would like, the statement is simply a beginning. The statement may change over time, little by little, and some sort of connection, with the native indigenous peoples of the area should be, it should be created and move as we move forward.
Like it.
That's all I got.
Okay. And then I still have my running board vacancy list. So we've pretty much got vacancies, small vacancies on all the boards. The one I think that really needs the most people right now is the CAC. They're busy. They have a lot of stuff going on, and they're also short 3 people. So if anybody knows anybody who wants to join the Conservation Advisory Council, they're critical to the environmental review of planning board projects, town board projects, and they also are running a lot of really important programs in the town right now. So
Laura, there was supposed to be an email blast about the vacancies on the various boards. Do you know whether that
yeah,
gonna go forward?
I know what we talked about doing that. I think we did do that for the zoning board, but we were sort of going to parcel out the different boards to see if we could get more attention to each board. So probably like this would make the most sense if we were going to do a vacancy email blast, the next one should be CAC.
Yes, or maybe even do a blast every couple months,
Mhm.
focusing one committee. And I'll continue to talk about them at the town board meetings. But yeah, we do need to get that at least 1 or 2 on the CAC. And they were canceled the other day, I noticed.
They were. It's not because they don't have running projects, but it's because a lot of the projects that are going before the planning board right now are like redevelopments that don't necessarily trigger environmental review, like Chase Bank putting up a drive-through ATM. All they're doing is adding a piece of equipment to an existing parking spot.
Okay.
So it's not that they're not busy, but there was a moment where I didn't have to have an EAF on the agenda. Awesome. So
Is there anything further for the good of the order? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that? I'll second that.
Any opposed? And we are adjourned. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.